Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live, episode number 231. Postponement of Orlando Hamcation, recorded live on Thursday, October 8th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by Michael Cauley, W4MCA, and John Knott, N4JTK, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week here on the show, Christian Kudnick, K0STH, was here to talk about the 100 Watts in a Wire podcast Fallout event that actually started about an hour ago and runs through this weekend. So if you missed that show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, or you can always catch the rebroadcast of Ham Talk Live on shortwave on WTWW 5085 AM. And that takes place Saturday afternoons at about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Apologize for being just a minute or two late here. Skype decided to collapse all of a sudden, so we're zooming it. So we got Plan B in effect, and we've got John and Michael on the line and ready to go. So get your questions ready to go for them. If you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can call us after the interview. And let me give you that telephone number so you can have that ready. It's not time to call just yet, but we'll give you the phone number so you have it, and then we'll announce when it's time to call. The phone number is 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. You can also tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. If you're on Spreaker, you can type a comment in, and I'll be back with Michael and John right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multifunction backpack. Now shipping. The IC705 is the perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package, covering HF, 6, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and only weighs 1 kilogram, or just over 2 pounds. With RF direct sampling for most of the HF band, IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. The IC705 runs 5 watts with the battery BP272 and 10 watts with a power supply. Sideband, CW, AM, FM, and full D-Star functions are available. A micro USB connector, Bluetooth and wireless LAN, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, a micro SD card slot, a speaker mic comes standard, and supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack LC192. too. It has a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
Right now, you could be sitting on a beach, sipping a drink with an umbrella in it, and enjoying the good life. But instead, you've decided to listen to Ham Talk Live. So we thank you. And now here's Neil Rapp with more of the show.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. ICOM has some great rigs out there, and 705 is now shipping. Check them out at icomamerica.com/amateur. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night, right here at hamtalklive.com. Joining me tonight are Michael Cauley, W4MCA, and John Knott, N4JTK. Michael is the chairman of the Orlando Hamcation for the 4th year, and he's served as 7 years as the tailgate chairman, 6 years as IT chairman, and a year in finance. And Hamcation is sponsored by the Orlando Amateur Radio Club, and John Knott, N4JTK, is the president of that club, and he is the commercial vendor co-chair and one of the ARRL liaisons for Hamcation. So we welcome John tonight as well. John usually hides when we offer him the microphone, but tonight we've got him. So, guys, thanks for being on the show tonight. Wish it was under better circumstances, but thanks for being on.
Thank you for having us on tonight, Mark. Or I'm sorry, I'm fixing to type to Mark. Sorry.
Yeah, you're typing to Mark. I saw Mark. He's tuning in here. I did the same thing. I'm looking at Mark and talking to you. Well, you weren't supposed to be on the show again this soon. Now, you know, we give you some time on the show, but you weren't supposed to be back for a while, and then all of a sudden things changed. And I know that on this show, you made a promise that if conditions existed that required the cancellation of Hamcation, that you would make it early enough to, allow people to make changes to their plans. And so this week, here we are. So tell us about those decisions that led up to canceling the event in February.
All right. First, let me say it was a very difficult decision to make. I've always joked that I hate to be in Dara and Huntsville shoes, and it finally happened to us here. We were lucky enough to be one of the first events this year and was able to get it in just barely, but being one of the first events next year, it kind of bit us in the butt. But with that said, pretty much after contact with ARL and our vendors, some of the vendors were starting to cancel already. Even trying to line up volunteers, everything, all the negative items were getting more than the positive items for the show. So with ARL and us, we both decided that it would be best to postpone Hamcation and the Hrl National Convention until 2022 because of that. Just like I said, it's a lot goes into it. A lot of the items, most people just think it's the COVID item. It's not only that, it's people that we work with, the fairgrounds, what type of stipulations we would have to have a show. Even our outside vendors that we come in for, like convention services, other vendors that we use, some of them still closed. They're not sure when they're going to be open back up. So all this weighed in on our decision to postpone the show this year.
Yeah, I know, all kinds of other shows, not just ham radio shows, have run into, some issues of, are the people going to come? Are the vendors going to come? Are people going to cancel? And the ones that have gone ahead, a lot of times, all of a sudden vendors start canceling, and now you're left with, a balance sheet that's not going to work, and you're going to have significant issues, and then you have all kinds of other issues with having a drop in the show and how things are going. And so I know it's a tough decision to make, but it's one that you had to make, and you saw the data, and it came in and kind of, told you what to do, it sounds like.
Yeah, we were trying to hold off until our original date was December 1st, a go or no go date. But after everything, pretty much in a matter of 2 weeks, everything hit us all at one time with all these different issues that were coming up to host the show. And our ultimate goal was also that we didn't want to put on a show that everybody's comes to Hamcation expects a certain standard, and we didn't want to lower that standard down for 1 year based on what type of restrictions we would have. We don't think people would enjoy the show. And then at the same time, like you said, vendors, stuff like that was already canceling. And without vendors, we're not going to have visitors. And without visitors, the vendors ain't going to want to come. So it's one of those hard decisions, but we did make it. And but not sure if John had anything to add about that part.
Well, I just want to add real quick, too, that like Michael said, it's a very heart-wrenching decision. And the other parts that we have to think about, too, is the volunteers, the vendors, and the visitors that do come, their health and their safety. Plus, there are some things that we never even took account for that that we never even thought about. Was some of the vendors that we deal with or that come to the show, being that they're in other states, they have HR laws that they have to deal with. And some of these HR laws don't allow them to send employees out during a pandemic. So they wouldn't be able to come and be able to sit there and have or be part of the show, because they wouldn't be able to send any of their employees and stuff with them. So those are things that we had to think about too. And it was a weighing decision that we just had to sit there and make. It's a difficult decision. Like Michael said, that none of us wanted to make that decision. We thought, we skimmed by in 2020 by what we joke with, the skin of our teeth to have the show, because shortly after the show was over with in February, that's when pretty much the United States started to shut down. And we thought, well, we'd be lucky enough. We'll be one of the first shows in 2021 and have a good show again and stuff. But, we're just not there yet, to the point that it's people are feeling comfortable enough to travel, travel either by plane or through state lines. There are restrictions yet where some people have to quarantine once they go back home. So there's so many different things involved in the decision that it's tough. And one of the tougher parts of the decision was Hamcation and OERC, Orlando Amateur Radio Club, donate to a lot of the clubs and nonprofit organizations locally who send volunteers to help put on Hamcation. So the volunteers get to donate their hours back to their choice of a nonprofit organization. And, we send out checks after Hamcation's over with and to help support these clubs and stuff. So, the impacts that are involved is tremendous. And those are all things that we had to weigh in that decision.
Yeah. And that's an issue with all kinds of nonprofits and organizations is trying to, raise money when things are still shut down, to some extent at least. And I'm sure that's going to be a big, impact there. But on the other hand, you got to do what you got to do. And this, it sounds like this was pretty much handed to you, that, if all of these resources are not going to be available at a level that, is conducive to having the show, then, there's not much choice.
Exactly. And I'll also sit there and say too, a lot of this stuff happened in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Michael and I have been on Zoom meetings after Zoom meetings after Zoom meetings, talking to our executive committee for Hamcation, to the board of directors of Orlando Amateur Radio Club, to the staff at ARRL, to other vendors, to our our director for ARRL here locally in our state of Florida. We've been talking with everybody about this, and it's just it's amazing. I mean, the support that we've gotten has been tremendous. So our commercial vendors have been very supportive. Everybody's looking forward to 2022. Most of them, like us, can't wait till it gets here. I mean, I hate to wish away 2021, but I'm ready to put on a show, and we got to wait an extra couple months now. So.
Yeah, we've got fall break coming up next week, and I remember last year was my first flying experience, and came down to Orlando, and we're just kind of sitting here going, ooh, that sounds really nice. I'd like to go, but it's just it's not there yet, and so we're staying home. But it's a tough decision, but numbers are coming down some right now. Maybe they'll go back up again. You just don't know right now, and so we're anxious for 2022 to get here to be able to come down. It's just it's a shame that this happens, but that's the situation we're in. So. You mentioned a little bit about the Hrl National Convention also being postponed. Let's talk a little bit about how this impacted the National Convention side of things. And, now we're postponing 2 years in a row.
Michael?
Yeah, the ARL actually approached us also when we were talking about this, that the hotel that they were going to use, they had deadlines there to be able to be made also. So they pretty much, it costs a lot of money to put on the show for ARL, for them to bring down everybody for a national convention. And the later they waited, they're in the same boat as us. The later they waited, the more penalties they were going to get by the hotel. So it was actually sent to their executive committee, executive board, to get it approved to postpone the national convention for this year and hold it in 2022. And it was approved unanimously by the board up there to do that. So with that, they're still planning for next year, or for 2022. They're going to have the training tracks on the Thursday, February 10th, still at the same hotel, the Doubletree by Hilton. More information will be announced in 2021 about that from ARL. So they're still full board with doing the national convention in 2022.
Okay, so we're just putting everything on hold and going with 2022 for their side of things then.
Correct. And then that's the same way it'll be, actually, since we did cancel this year and didn't have a full show, it will still be our 75th show. So it will still be our 75th anniversary in the ARL National Convention.
All right, very good. And I know that on your website you've already kind of alluded to some activities to happen during that weekend. So can you share, what you know so far about some of those activities?
Yeah, we're trying to keep our name out there during the weekend and trying to bring something to the ham community also at the same time. So we've come up with, actually, it's going to be called the 2021 Orlando Hamcation Special Edition. We're looking to host some unique webinars that weekend that would be Hamcation. The webinars are going to be webinars you've never seen before. So it's not going to be the same webinars that everybody's doing at your local meetings currently, because everything's on Zoom and all these webinars are being done by everybody. These are all going to be webinars you've never seen before, new content for the show. We are also looking at holding a Hamcation QSO party, that weekend also, during Hamcation weekend. And the last thing is still to be determined yet, but we're going to try to host some live prize drawings during the event also for the special edition of Hamcation. Actually, what we're planning on is doing live prize drawings in between the webinars every hour, just like you would be at Hamcation.
Okay, very good. Well, that sounds like some cool stuff, and new content is always good. And so I hope those plans go well, and you do have a little bit of time to get that ready, since you've had to make this decision a little bit earlier. You've got a little bit of time to put all that together.
Yeah, that's one, I guess, good thing about doing it 5 months ahead by postponing. If we would have waited until December, there's no way we could have did anything for February at that point. So now we have some time to actually do something and try to do something for the ham community at the same time.
Very good. Well, Hamcation SE, I like it. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take your calls and your tweets and comments and all that kind of thing, and talk a little bit more with Michael and John right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, honey, have you seen the PL259s anywhere?
No, I haven't. Come on, kids. Let's go.
There's just one place to go for all of your connector needs.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
A giant warehouse of connectors and adapters for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And they have antennas, soldering supplies, cables, meters, and more. Where do you go if you want to buy a connector at a fraction of retail cost?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 solder-type PL259s, get the 10th one for just 1 penny. They make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a PL259?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
I'm Scott, KB9AMM of Tower Electronics. I like the PL259 connectors so much, I bought the company.
Tower Electronics, coming to a Hamfest near you, or online at pl-259.com. And we're in the yellow pages under Amateur Radio Connectors.
My, wherever did you get that lovely PL259?
Tower Electronics, pl-259.com, or call 920-435-2973.
Do we sell PL259 connectors?
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tower Electronics they're going to be down the road from me, hopefully, November 7th, if Bedford, Indiana isn't canceled at that point. And then Fort Walton Beach, Florida is also still on the books, November 13th and 14th. But of course, anytime you want, you can visit them at pl-259.com. And you can visit Ham Talk Live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at hamtalklive.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it's time for your phone calls right now. If you have a question for Michael and John, give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. Or you can tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live. And if you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast edition, sorry, we're live on Thursday night, so you won't be able to reach anybody on the phone lines. And actually, we are going to start off with a phone call already. So good evening, Mark. Welcome to Ham Talk Live. Oh, hang on. I didn't have you on, Mark. There we go.
Hey,
I got you on,
Neil. This is Mark. Okay, this is Mark, N4BCD from the Huntsville, Alabama Hamfest. And I wanted to say hi to Michael and John out there.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, guys. I remember we were together in February down at your last Hamcation. And, the COVID-19 was in the news, and we treated it with some light concern, but never to the degree that things transpired through March, April, and the rest of the year. And of course, we got the call from Jack Gerbs in March that Dayton Hamvention was canceled. But here in Huntsville, we continued to think with our hearts and be hopeful that our August event would come to pass. But like you, things all came together. The question about how many visitors would come from other states. How many vendors would show up, your volunteer base, hundreds of volunteers are needed for a large hamfest. And finally, the venue, the capacity limits that the state of Alabama was putting on us, and probably the fairgrounds where you host Hamcation. They all came together, and, we all know it's a gut-wrenching decision, but I just calling to say I know you guys really thought long and hard about it, but you made the right call.
Yeah, Mark, just like I said earlier, I thought I would never be put in a position of Jack and you at the time to actually even talk about canceling Hamcation. So, yeah, it was a tough decision. I believe now, after it's all done and over with, it was the right decision to make. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, everything fell pretty much together all at the same time. I guess we're kind of lucky everything happened at once and we learned everything pretty much in a 1-2 week period compared to spread out for several months and really delaying the obvious that was going to happen. But yeah, it's hard. And like you said, in February, we're pretty much talking about it, but not that much. And then even when Huntsville got canceled, for this year, we're like, we're going to keep going with our show, just like you were saying when Hamvention got canceled. So, yeah, but it is hard. Are
your volunteer corps keeping a positive outlook?
They are. I sent actually out an email to all the volunteers also letting them know everything that happened, and got back a lot of positive feedback from the volunteers agreeing with what I did, because a lot of them weren't even sure if they're going to be able to make it. Just like everybody hates to see the show be postponed, but like most people know, probably 75% of the amateur population is considered high risk for age or medical issues. So a lot of them didn't want to be put into predicament to volunteer, all of them probably would have, because you know how hams are. They volunteer and help out, but a lot of them didn't want to be put in that predicament. So by us postponing, it kind of answered their prayers pretty much.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear tonight with your guys taking this proactive decision several months out. You'll be able to plan some alternative activities come February of next year, and my best wishes for the success there. And also, we'll see you guys. We'll all get together in Dayton. Let's just keep our fingers crossed for the next big one. 73 guys, thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
thank
Mark,
you, Mark,
for calling in.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 859-982-7373 is the phone number. If you'd like to call in, we'll get you on here. We do have a lot going on in the comments here tonight. And John, W4USF, wants to know now you're going to blame me for calling it Hamcation SE.
Sounds like a Windows name.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's exactly what I was going for. Hamcation 2021 SE. Do hams need to register to access the webinars? And if so, how do they do that? And I'm guessing it's too early to ask that.
Yeah, more information will be made public within next month or so of how you would register and what the actual webinars will be once we get them lined up. But I can pretty much say there will be a registration for each webinar. So just keep a lookout at our website, www.hamcation.com.
Okay, very good. And we'll look for that registration for Hamcation SE. Okay, Chris, AA4CB says, you did the right thing, guys. I will miss the show and seeing everybody at Hamcation, but better safe than sorry. And I'm sure you have a lot of people agreeing with that, and we have some other supportive comments here from the peanut gallery here tonight. So we're behind you, and we we're not happy, but we're understanding, I hope, and I think you've got some good ideas for some things to do during that weekend, just to keep things going, and we'll just hope for the best for the next one.
Yeah, one thing we are going to do this year, the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award will be still presented to someone. The website is actually still open for that. If you go to the awards page, you can still nominate somebody for the award. You have until November 1st, so you still got right around a month left to nominate people. We will be awarding a winner. Then we will actually present the winner at 2022 Hamcation. So we'll have two presentations that during the awards presentation for that year.
Okay, very good. So you've got the award, you've got the webinars, you've got QSO party, all kinds of good stuff coming up. So we'll be interested to hear the final plans on those and how to get signed up for all of that here in the next few months as you put all that together. So we really appreciate your efforts, and I know it's a heartbreak, but this is what we're doing these days, and so I appreciate everything that you've been doing. Mark just dropped a message here and says he just spoke to Carol a few weeks ago and doing well in quarantine at home, and I've had a couple of indirect messages from Carol as well, so that's good to hear too. So Guys, we're going to finish things up here because we're on a time limit tonight. I didn't realize that until we put Plan B into effect. So we're going to go ahead and finish things up. So any final comments here tonight before we go?
I do. I want to bring up one thing real quick. Anybody that's purchased tickets, swap tables, tailgate spaces, RV nights, even our commercial vendors, everybody's being contacted individually by the chairman that's involved, or that's in charge of their area. So myself and Bob Cummings is getting in touch with everybody in commercial. Our swap chairman are getting in touch with everybody from swaps, so on and so forth. And with all the directions and information about refunds, if you want to move it forward to 2022 or whatever it is that you want to do. So look for that email and please respond as quickly as possible. We do want to have everything kind of wrapped up before the end of the year, although I don't think it's going to take that long, but we do want to get everything wrapped up quickly so we can more or less close the books on 2021 and start moving forward for 2022.
The only thing I had to add was
go ahead, Michael.
Thank everybody for all the positive comments out there. We look forward to seeing everybody in 2022. Also, if promote another Hamfest that's actually happening this weekend, Melbourne Hamfest in Orlando, Florida. If you're local out here, please go support them if you feel like going to a Hamfest. Actually, in the state, I think it might be the first Hamfest since Hamcation that's actually happening. Orlando Hamcation will have a booth there. We will be talking about the postponement of 2021 and the National Convention, and also talking about the webinars and QSO party at that also.
All right. Very good. So, Melbourne, Florida coming up this weekend, and I know some of the people in the chat have commented that they're going as well. So best of luck to them, and hopefully they can have a good event there as well. Well, guys, I know we're getting ready to lose our connection here, so let me wish you well and thank you for coming on, and we'll be talking about these activities as you get those ready to go.
Sounds good, Neil. Thank you for having us. One last thing, don't forget about the vendors out there. Since there's no shows going on, please support them online and buy radios.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So just, remember a lot of these vendors are having to, put everything on hold. So make sure you support them, and couldn't say that any more emphatically, because, there are some that's their livelihood. And so it's great if you can support them. All right, well, we're going to finish up here tonight. So that is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guest, Michael Cauley, W4MCA, and John Knott, N4JTK, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and calling in and typing in. And invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. And that's also where you can see a list of our upcoming guests, so be sure to check that out. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. That helps us get the word out about the show. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.
Well, you came right back to my CQ call. Your readability 5 and strength 9. You never once mentioned your weather at all, and I didn't mention mine. We talked and talked for hours and hours. I completely forgot you're a ham. I don't know your power or the height of your tower. Frankly, I don't give a damn. For 73s, to you and your family, I'll be seeing you further down the lawn. Your 73s, to you and your family, I'll be seeing you further down the lawn. It's hard to believe that you're anti-OD, 'cause you sound just like a local